The history behind candy canes, it's not what you think. Picture a candy cane. Red and white, curved top, peppermint smell. It's one of the most recognizable symbols of Christmas. But here's the twist. Most of what you think you know about candy canes is completely wrong. They weren't invented by a priest to quiet children. They weren't shaped like a J for Jesus, and the red stripes, those came way later, and for reasons that will probably ruin every holiday story you've heard. Today, we're diving into the strange history behind candy canes and why it's not what you think. Let's unwrap this sweet mystery. The myths we all heard. Before we get into what actually happened, let's start with the myths. Myth number 1. They were shaped like a shepherd's hook to represent Jesus. Myth number 2. The red stripes symbolize Christ's blood. Myth number 3. The white stripes represent purity. Myth number 4. A choirmaster supposedly invented candy canes in 1670 to keep kids quiet during church. These stories spread mostly in the late 1900s. They sound poetic, but there's a problem. None of these stories appear in any historical record. No church document, no invention patent, not even a diary note from the time. They're beautiful, but they're not true. So, where did the candy cane come from? To answer that, we have to go back several centuries, before Christmas lights. Before stockings, before Santa even wore red. Before the cane, sugar sticks. The earliest versions of candy canes weren't canes at all. In 17th century Europe, you would find straight white sugar sticks, made entirely of boiled sugar. No peppermint, no red stripes, and definitely not curved. These were luxury items. Sugar was expensive. They were eaten year-round, not just at Christmas. By the 1800s, sugar sticks had become more common. Children loved them, but they were still straight. So when did the curve appear? Nobody knows exactly when or where the curve was invented, but here's what historians do know. By the early 1800s, curved sugar sticks appear in artwork and written records. They show up mostly around Christmas. The curve was probably added so they could hang on Christmas trees, a popular German tradition. So yes, the shape was practical, not symbolic. But even then, these early candy canes were white, flavorless, or lightly sweetened, straight or curved, depending on the maker. So when did peppermint enter the picture? The peppermint and stripes mystery. This is where things get even stranger. For most of the 1800s, candy canes were plain white. Peppermint was a popular flavor in general, but not exclusive to cane-shaped candy. The iconic red and white stripes didn't show up until the early 1900s. And the person most associated with this transformation is Bob McCormack, an American candy maker from Georgia. He started making candy canes by hand in the 1910s. His candy canes had peppermint flavor, the now iconic red stripes, a more uniform shape. But here's the wildest part. Making candy canes was a nightmare. Each one had to be pulled, striped, bent, cooled, wrapped by hand. This made them expensive and inconsistent. Enter Bob's brother-in-law, Greg Keller, a Catholic priest, who also happened to be an inventor. He created a machine that could twist the stripes, cut the sticks, bend the hooks. This invention is why candy canes finally went mass production and became a global Christmas symbol. So ironically, the real priest behind candy canes had nothing to do with inventing them. He just helped automate the process. From candy to Christmas icon. By the mid-20th century, candy canes were mass-produced. Marketing tied them heavily to Christmas. They became the third most popular Christmas candy after chocolate and fudge. Their shape was perfect for hanging on trees, and peppermint became the official holiday flavor. The myths grew, the symbolism grew. And candy canes became more than candy. They became tradition. But their real origin? Just a simple sugar stick that slowly evolved through practicality, marketing, machinery, and a whole lot of storytelling. So next time you unwrap a candy cane, remember, you're not holding a centuries-old religious symbol. You're holding the result of European candy makers, American inventors, a priest who loved machines, and an entire century of holiday marketing. And that is the strange history behind the candy cane. If you enjoyed this episode of the history behind simple things, hit like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments. Which Christmas object should we explore next? Until then, stay curious.